women's featherweight division is in flux. We don't know what's going on with the champion, Germaine de Randamie. Is she vacating the title? Is she retiring? Is she coming back? When is she going to fight? We've got Cris Cyborg banging her drum, saying that she's not getting any respect, that her contract is coming up in October. 2 fights left, but it would expire in October if we don't get to that point. The UFC is signing fighters like Cindy Dandwa to fight at 135. There's the Invicta women's featherweight champion, Megan Anderson, who wants to get in the UFC, but thus far hasn't been signed. They haven't signed any other featherweights. It's a whole big mess. So I wanted to talk to Megan. She was on the show a few months ago after she won the interim title. She's now the full-time champion after Cyborg vacated the title, to see what the heck is going on, to try to make sense of this whole situation. I do believe she is on Skype, standing by, and there she is, Megan Anderson. Megan, how are you?
Hi. Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on again.
It is a pleasure as always. So I will ask you the question, and it's not a very eloquent one. What the heck is going on? What is happening?
I have no idea. I think it's all been pretty crazy. There's a lot of drama considering there's only 2 people in the division, which is crazy. I think a lot of things need to be cleared up with Germaine and go from there, I guess.
Do you know anything about Germaine's status?
I have no idea. Like, we all read articles, we all hear things. I have no idea what's going on with her. So I think her being silent is not helping her.
Yeah.
I think she just needs to come out and kind of tell everyone what's going on. So either Cris can say, okay, well, she's got shit going on at home or whatever. That's fine. Well, then it lets the division move on, because we've all been waiting for that fight. That fight's not happening. So what next?
And here's also an important question to tackle. Do you have your next fight, even if it's for Invicta? Do you have anything lined up right now?
No, I don't. We have spoken to Shannon, and she's kind of told us when she would like me to fight next, but nothing is set. I don't have an opponent or anything like that.
When's that? When does she want you to fight next?
I think it's July 15.
Okay. And are there interesting options for you in Invicta right now?
I have no idea. I'm interested. Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention. Like there was a few the 1 or 2 fight girls that fought on the last card that, in a few fights time would be interesting. I'm interested to see how Ediana Gomez goes. She's fighting on the next card. But after that, I have no idea who that they would match me with.
We saw you at UFC 209 in Las Vegas. That was your first time at a UFC event. And you spoke to the media. You did a great job. I'm wondering if afterwards, did you speak to anyone in the UFC about their plans for not only you, but the featherweight division as well?
No, I did not speak to anyone in the UFC. I think my management have, and as far as I'm aware, that they were sorting some stuff out. So we haven't heard anything since.
And now here's the big issue. Cyborg, for the last couple of weeks, has been saying, okay, Germaine, let's fight July 29th. I know the UFC wanted to make that fight on July 29th. Featherweight title fight. It's the fight as far as the belt is concerned. Everyone wants to see Cyborg fight for the belt. But here we are. No word from Germaine, and her management is saying it's not looking like she's going to fight July 29th, and they don't have many answers as far as when she will return. And now it seems to have shifted to you, and there's some dialogue there. Would you be interested in fighting Cyborg on July 29th, this date that she wants to fight on? Because, of course, she lives in Orange County. It's, it makes a lot of sense for her. Is that something that interests you, 2.5 months away?
Yeah, it definitely interests me. I feel like that's the fight that should have been matched for the title. She, was the head of the featherweight division in Invicta, and she moved up. Now I'm the head. So I think that, why not? Let's fight. July 29th. You know, the UFC, that's the thing, the UFC have to come to us and start negotiating, but, you know, we haven't heard anything since. But I would definitely love that fight. I think it's the fight the fans want to see, and I think I'm the only one that can beat her.
If she's calling you out and you want to fight her, why not pick up the phone, your management, you, whoever it may be, and say, let's get this fight going. There's no reason not to make this fight. Is there anything stopping the UFC from making this fight happen? You guys are literally the only two featherweights in the world right now who people are talking about, and people want to see you two fight, and you're the champion Invicta. She was the champion, and there's some buzz there, and you're doing well as of late. I mean, I just can't wrap my head around why this isn't happening unless there is a reason for I don't know, whatever it may be. I'd love to hear it if there was, stopping this fight from happening. Do you know of any reason?
I have no idea. I've always expressed interest in, you know, taking the next step up to the UFC, and we haven't been approached about doing that. So I think really it's on them to come to us and say, hey, let's start negotiating. Let's get this fight going, because I feel like this is the fight that should have happened, and I think now's the time. You know, if Jermaine isn't going to be able to do it, let's crown the people's champ.
Are you worried that the featherweight division in the UFC is kind of hanging on by a thread, that you almost have to salvage this thing? Because if Jermaine, for whatever reason, goes away and maybe the Cyborg deal doesn't work out, then there wouldn't be a home for you in the UFC anymore, because that division would cease to exist. Does this worry you?
Yeah, definitely it worries me. And I think that I'm the person to salvage it. I could be the face of the division. You know, I'm marketable. I bring Australia. I have a cool accent, and you know, I go in there and I finish fights.
That is true. What is it like for you to see other Invicta fighters? You know, recently we saw Cindy Dandwa, who you know. There are reports that Aspen Ladd has signed with the UFC and will debut in July. You know, Lauren Murphy in the past, Angela Hill. I mean, the list goes on and on. The whole strawweight division essentially at one point was brought over. See all these other fighters continue to be brought in, but for whatever reason, when it seems like they could really use you, it's not happening for you, at least right now.
I think it's great that these girls are getting the opportunity. I think that's what they need, and it's what the sport needs. I'm a huge Aspen Ladd fan, so I'm very excited to hear that she's going up, and I think that's a really good fight for her. And you know, I wish her all the best. On the same time, like it can be frustrating because I feel like there's girls like myself, Charmaine Tweet, other girls in the featherweight division who I guess should be on that stage as well. They kind of, I think it's just they don't know what they're doing, and girls like us who deserve to be there are missing out, and they're missing out on building already proven stars in the division.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher. There's no doubt about that. And you know, now you're in this position where you're like tweeting at Dana White, I see, and you're a lot more, I think, active and aggressive on social media. Are you comfortable with this, or do you feel like you need to do this to try to get their attention?
I feel like you kind of need to do it these days. I'm not a fan of it, but you know, I guess I would call it like the Conor McGregor age, where people feel like they need to, you know, call people out on social media or like say outlandish comments or stuff like that. And I understand that you get noticed that way, but like, so I guess really it's just all about getting your name out there and making them notice.
Did you go to the Kansas City event?
I did. I watched my teammates Zach Cummings and Tim Elliott come away with the win.
What's it like for you to be there? You seem to be oh so close. I mean, does that inspire you? Is it frustrating? What are the emotions when you're at these UFC events?
It was exciting. I think it was a huge step forward in the right direction for MMA in Kansas City. It was amazing to be able to be there and feel the atmosphere. everyone really came and supported. It was phenomenal. Even better that Tim and Zach got the win. I couldn't be prouder. They've put in so much hard work. I guess like I'm happy that is happening, but it's kind of like I'm almost there, but I'm not there yet.
You know, it's very rare to hear fighters say, I definitively want to fight Cris Cyborg. You don't hear this. You hear people try to sometimes make excuse not to fight her. Why are you this confident? Why do you go out of your way now to say, again, I want to fight this woman. I'm ready to fight her in 2.5 months. What is it about Cris that actually makes you want to fight her?
I think like she's looked devastating against girls who aren't in the division, and you know, both Leslie Smith and Lena Lesberg, I take nothing from them, but they're not 145ers. They're coming up against a bigger, stronger girl, and that's the thing. I walk around the same as her. I have to cut the same amount. I'm as strong as her. I hit hard. Age is on my side. You know that. I think most girls sign up to fight her because they want to get a contract with the UFC at 135. Like there is no way that I can physically make 135. So, you know, it's not like it's a segue for me into a different division. Like this is my division. And I feel like Asia's on my side and I'm the only one that has the skills and the ability to beat her.
So in other words, you're saying she's looking impressive against essentially 135ers. She's not fighting true 145ers like yourself.
Yeah.
So you won't believe this, but well, you may know that Cris Cyborg is very active on social media, right? You see her tweets?
Yes.
More active than you.
I do know.
She was tuning into this interview and actually called into the show and wants to talk to you. Do you want to talk to her?
Sure. Why not?
Cris, are you there?
Hi, Ariel. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome. I was listening to the show, I decided call because I don't want Megan to think people talk about from me, and I want to talk to her, and I'm very excited for this fight. I call out this fight a long time because I think she's a 145-pounder, and then this fight's supposed to happen a long time ago, and then not happened because her manager talked to UFC and talked to Shanna, I don't know, and they said she needed more time, needed more fights, but I think this is the real fight, this is the real fight for the belt 145.
What do you think, Megan?
Hello?
Yes, we're just taking it all in. I can't believe you actually called in. So Cris wants this fight as well. Clearly, you just heard it. We now have both fighters saying that they want the fight. Does this make you feel at all confident, Megan, that this is going to happen now? What do you think? How do you digest all this?
Let's make it happen.
She wants to make it happen. Cris, a lot of people don't say to you that they want to fight you. People go in the opposite direction. Now you have someone that actually wants to fight you. What do you think of this?
I hope Megan already spoke with Shanna. I don't want to. She's about this fight. She's, just make for growing her name. I would like to say, you want to fight Cyborg, and this really happened because people like to go to media, I want to fight Cyborg, but behind, when you go talk to the manager and in the room, and then changing game, and I really want this fight happen. If she's agree with the fight happen, man, have to put the hands in the promotion if we can do this fight.
Right. And Cris, we were just talking about you, but maybe you can update both of us. Where do things stand with you? Are you going to fight July 29th? And do you have an opponent? If not, if Jermaine is not available, do you think that opponent will be Megan Anderson?
Man, I think it'd be great. She's 145, and she's bigger than me. And I think my fans really would like to see I fight somebody bigger than me. It's my division, and I'm really happy back to my division fight.
Do you know what's going on with Jermaine's belt?
Man, I really don't know. I really don't know what's going on. I really want to fight. I not just call out her, but I supposed to fight her before, but then my health's not okay, and now I'm healthy. We can do this fight. And she's new. When she gets the belt, she knew she'll have to fight me. It make me upset because this fight don't gonna happen. But, I can fight Megan before, and maybe you can fight again. I don't know.
Cris, why don't you or your management tell the UFC, we want to fight Megan Anderson, Invicta champ versus Invicta champ. People want it. True 145er. This would sell well in Orange County. Why don't we make that happen today?
You know, I really always ask for her because I think the first fight, 145 belt UFC, is supposed to be me and her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Holly Holm, she never fight 145, and Randyman don't fight 145 too. You know, they make this fight, but they're supposed to fight me and Megan because we fight 145 pounds. You know, I hold the belt 145 pounds. I gave to her because I had to vacate my belt to Invicta. But we supposed to fight for the belt 145 pounds.
Megan, I think this is very promising. What do you think? I mean, here you have Cris actually saying she wants to fight you. This is the fight that needs to happen.
I think this fight should have been for the title in the first place.
Yeah.
I think that the UFC should have waited for Cris until she was ready to fight, and then they should have matched this fight. If Jermaine can't fight, let's do it now.
Well, this is exciting. I don't know what we do from here, but I feel like we've actually made a fight on the air. What do you think, Cris? I think we've actually done something good.
Man, I think you can do a great show July 29, you know, and I hope Megan train really hard. I'm going to train really hard. I think people strike, and it'll be an amazing fight. I think you're all excited fight for the fans, and the real 145 pounds.
Cris, are you impressed with Megan Anderson? Have you watched? Have you studied her? Do you think that she is on your level as a fighter?
You know, I'm really happy this has happened. You know, I'm really happy because we really need the people who have courage for coming and say you want to fight Cyborg, want to fight someone. I don't think you can choose your opponent. I think if you were champ, you cannot choose your opponent. If you hold the belt, you have to fight anybody where to fight. And for me, really hard to understand people. I don't want to fight Cyborg. I want to duck Cyborg. For me, I can understand this because in my gym, shooter box, I learned you have to be ready in any situation. And for anyone, you cannot choose who you're going to fight. And this is man, show me really respect to fight her July 29th.
Last thing for you, Cris, before we let you go. And again, thank you so much for calling in and updating us. What do you think is going to happen? Do you feel confident that you will fight on July 29th? And do you feel confident that it will be Megan Anderson?
You know, if she's for her manager call UFC and I don't know, asking for this fight, I think then looking for someone if German will be ready and maybe this fight going to happen, you know. Man, I'll be positive this can happen. It'll be nice because 145-pound fight, real. You know, it's not someone come on 35. I don't have to cut for 140. You know, I know Megan cannot drop for 135, 140. She's bigger than me. And then, you do amazing fight, 145.
Anything you want to say to her directly?
You know, I hope you train hard, you know, and that's it. I want to make my best there, you know. I'm going to do my best, and she know my game. She know my game. I go KO people, and she likes to KO too. And let's go to the half.
Megan, anything you want to say to Cris?
So let's make the best 145 fight in the history.
Yes, I love it.
Yes, it's great. It's a great. It's man. I really want to do this, and you showed people respect, and they start respect 145 pounds.
Thank you, Cris.
Wait.
Thank you for calling in. That was great. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Megan. Okay, see you 25 July, I hope.
Wow.
Bye.
That is something. What do you think? What do you think, Megan?
It's very exciting. I think we both want this fight. I think it's up to the UFC now to make it happen.
And just to be clear, she says a lot of people come out and say, I want to fight Cris, but then behind the scenes, they're like, I need more time. Are you one of those people?
No. I think if the UFC comes to us and we can sort everything out, that fight will happen. I don't need any more time. I'm fine for July 29th. Let's do it.
Does it have to be for a belt, in your opinion? Does it have to be for the UFC belt? Or do you want to fight her regardless? How do you feel about that? Because the belt is in limbo.
I'll fight her regardless.
Wow.
I think, with other divisions, like if the champion doesn't fight within a certain time, they are putting interim belts up. I'm not too sure if they would be willing to do that because there are minimal people in the division at this stage. But that's the thing. Jermaine, she signed up for the fight knowing that she could be a world champion. So, like, when you're a world champion, you don't get to choose who you fight.
Right.
You choose the best. You choose the number one contender. And if she wasn't ready for that, then she shouldn't have took the fight. Cris and I are the top featherweights in the world. Like, it should have been us, but it wasn't. That's fine. Let's do it now.
Hard to argue with that logic. Great stuff, Megan. I hope it happens. I respect the fact that you are calling out like the boogie woman. It seems like not a lot of people are signing up to fight Cris Cyborg, and you're actively putting your neck out there and saying that you want to fight her. And I do hope that this happens sooner rather than later, hopefully July 29th. Kudos to you. You wanted to say something?
No, I guess thanks for having me on.
Okay.
It was interesting to have Cris on, but I hope it happens. Everyone's beatable. They didn't think Ronda Rousey could be beaten.
Sure.
They didn't think Jose Aldo could be beat. Everyone's beatable, and maybe I'm her kryptonite.
Wow. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Hope you get it done, and appreciating you being a good sport with talking to Cris. Thanks for that.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right. There she is, the Invicta featherweight champion, Megan Anderson. She wants Cris Cyborg. Let's make it happen. What are we waiting for? I feel like this is Fiddler on the Roof. Matchmaker. Do we have to make it for you? It's a no-brainer. Jermaine's not available. Cyborg wants it. Megan Anderson wants it. Don't tell me that they don't bring fighters over from Invicta. It happens almost every day. Great fighter. Young, marketable, game, wants to fight Cyborg. If we're going to be in this business, and I do think the UFC should be in the Cyborg business because she is so damn good, and clearly the ratings speak for themselves, and she hasn't fought in her natural weight class, and she hasn't gone in that real push, and we could go on and on about all the issues that have happened over the years, but she is someone that I think they should keep around. Here you have someone that wants to fight her. And could you imagine if Megan Anderson actually beats her, and then the rematch? Co-main event to Cormier and Jones?